in her philosophy, what is consciousness? And the devotee had given her a card or a pamphlet or something, and it just so happened she read the word Krishna consciousness. So she became, that put her into the second gear. So we'll see, we're going to study Krishna consciousness. And it's remarkable how much in 1 year, how much she's learned. And when we think about in our own lives, each and every one of us is consciousness, small particle of Krishna consciousness. We are Jiva. And of course we've all studied Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna is speaking about the nature of this consciousness, the soul, Jiva. Somehow or other, we've accumulated so many other consciousness to cover up that original consciousness. I know for a long time I was in hockey consciousness. I was a hockey player. So I'm thinking, I'm a hockey player. Of course, I'm a son. This is my mother. This is my father. I'm Canadian. I'm Catholic. I'm this, I'm that. So many, what Srila Prabhupada calls designations. And it can get very complicated, because with each and every designation, there is a sense of proprietorship. There's a sense of identifying with this and the need to protect it. Sometimes people will fight, even to death, over what kind of car they drive. I'm a Ford man, well I'm a Chrysler man. So many reasons to become agitated. So we're very, very fortunate because Srila Prabhupada, he cut through all of these layers. All of these layers. I mean, this extends into religion, what to speak of when it gets into religion. Sometimes it says that religion is to blame for most of the wars. Of course, it is not real religion. It is the idea that I am separate from the other. Even to think I'm a Hare Krishna, that is also a misconception. I'm not a Hare Krishna. And there's a beautiful verse in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is telling Arjuna in the 2nd chapter, O Dhananjaya, rid yourself of all fruitive actions by devotional service and surrender fully to that consciousness. One who wants to enjoy the fruits of his work is a miser. And that consciousness is knowing that Krishna is the supreme proprietor. He's the ultimate purpose of all sacrifices and all austerities. Krishna is the proprietor of all the planets and all the demigods, but to speak of all other living entities. And Krishna is the supreme friend and well-wisher and benefactor of all living beings. That is the peace formula. And without this transcendental knowledge, without transcendental knowledge, there can be neither controlled mind, purified intelligence. There is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace? So we're about to perform this wonderful yajna. petitioning the blessing and protection of Rishigadev. And now we're going to hear Prabhuji, Rayani, about the glories of Lord Nishigadev and Prahlad Maharaj.
Om.
Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschadhyate Satalini Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaurajite He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Sapta Kanchana Gaurami Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Harigriye Mancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Devaccha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you, Devanand Prabhu. Very good. So we are fortunate to have Devanand Prabhu here. He is one of our senior Prabhupada disciple. It's nice that he is here actually. It's wonderful to have him here and to hear from him. So today we are performing this narishmayagya. Normally when we look at this kind of things, we call these as rituals. So there is only small difference, spiritual and ritual. When you take out the S from that, it becomes as a ritual. So in scriptures it talks about Bhavagrahi Janardana. So Krishna, they call it as a Bhavagrahi Janardana. Janardana is the name of Krishna and he is Bhavagrahi. Bhavagrahi means he basically look at our consciousness. He is not really worried about whether what kind of yajna we are doing, in what way we are doing it, how we are doing it. Not all these things. It's mainly bhava he is looking at it. So when first time when I met Aniruddha Prabhu and Om, The question asked by the Om was that, Om or Ambit Prabhu, I didn't remember exactly. What is the importance of Narsimhadev then compared to all other Devi Devatas? So, why is that we worship separately Narsimhadev here in the temple, especially in Vrindavan, as we have separate? So, the answer to that is that Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, Paritranaya sadhuna vinachaya dushkutam dharma samsthapanadaya sambhavam. So the meaning of that is, whenever there is a decline in the dharma, Krishna appears to take care of those miscreants. And so normally it happens that if you see in the Rama avatar, so there are demons increased so much, and then in Krishna avatar again there are so many demons increased. Now if you really go deep into that, there is much more to that which we can discuss actually. Now why is that? Is the Mother Bhumi, when you look at in Krishna book, when you read Krishna book or when you study Krishna, Mother Bhumi, and then again this is another important when you go further deep into the scriptures. So Vedas, they really talk about each and individual thing is a living entity. It is not just an impersonal thing. So when you talk about Bhumi, the earth is just not like a just earth. That to be called as a Mother Bhumi. She is the mother. And when you talk about a river, that is a Mother Ganga, Mother Yamuna. So there is a person for each and everything in as per the scriptures. And children actually, when they grow up with the proper consciousness that each and everything is the living entity. So they play with the dolls and they talk to dolls and they play with them as if say they are real personalities. But then as elders, we try to slowly take them away from that consciousness and we started ridicule them. So we tell them that we ridicule them and they stop being personal and slowly they start becoming impersonal. Then they treat doll is just a doll, is not as a living entity. So this we bring them into that. So this Mother Bhumi, she takes the form of a cow. She goes to the Brahma and then she asks the Brahma that I am unable to bear the burden. So now the question comes, is it that in the Ramayana time or in Krishna's time, the population is so much that Mother Earth could not bear it when compared to now population? Now Mother Earth should be running to Brahma actually, because the population has increased so much as per our scientists or whatever as per the census. But when you try to look at it, it is not that the number of people are going to be the burden on Mother Earth. We take just an example, smaller example. If their parents are having 5 children or 10 children, if all of them are becoming good citizens, the parents will not really bother about them. But out of which if 1 or 2 they become criminals, that is a more burden to the parents. These 2 become more burden to the parents than the remaining 8, if suppose there are 10. Similarly, when the Mother Earth, when she finds that more and more people are becoming a demoniac, and that burden she cannot take it. It is not that time the population is become too much and Mother Earth could not bear that population. It's nothing like that. So the people that are more demoniac, they become so many, and Mother Earth could not bear their demoniac mentality. That's how she felt so much weight on them. So then she went to Brahma, and then Brahma, he took all the Devi and Devatas and then went to Vishnu, and then he prayed to Vishnu, and then Vishnu told that I appear as a Krishna. And so Krishna appeared, and then he killed all the demons. Now again, coming back to our subject, why is that Narsimhadev is special? Because Narsimhadev is appeared only for one person, not for a bunch of demoniac people. He appeared only for Prahlad, nobody else. It's not like that there are so many Hiranyakashipus are there, so he wanted to kill all of them. It's nothing like that. So Vishnu appeared in the form of a Narsimhadev so that he can kill Hiranyakashipu, who is troubling his dearmost devotee Prahlad. That's how he appears. Then again, many questions can be asked into that. Is it that it is necessary for him to really appear like that? Not necessary for Vishnu to appear in that form. Vishnu could have given Hiranyakashipu a small heart attack. Hiranyakashipu could that. Not necessary. He has to come in this half man and half lion, and then he has to kill Hiranyakashipu with his nails, not with any sword or weapon. All these things, there are so many things which we can really dig deep into that, and we can go into that discussion, the philosophical discussion which we can. But then why is that Vishnu appears there in the form of Narasimha Bhagavan to kill Hiranyakashipu? Is that to give pleasure to his devotee? Now, when we don't understand philosophy, it appears a nonsense and it appears absurd. How is that? So in one of our temple in Bombay, in Chowpatty, there is a interfaith conference is going on. There are many people, Christian, from Christianity and from Buddhist monks, all of them they came. And they attended the meeting, and after that they are taking a tour of the temple. So one of the Buddhists, he don't want to take along with all of them, he is personally going alone and taking a tour. And then he came to the picture where Narasimha Bhagavan is standing there. There is a painting where Narasimha Bhagavan is sitting and on top of lap, Hiranyakashipu is there and he is ripping apart his chest and his stomach, and Prahlad Maharaj is standing this side and with a garland. So this Buddhist monk could not understand this. He called one of the brahmachari there and he said, "Can you explain this? I am not understanding." So brahmachari as usually explained that this is a god and this is Hiranyakashipu. And Hiranyakashipu is the father of Prahlad Maharaj. And Hiranyakashipu is father of Prahlad Maharaj, and God is killing him, and Prahlad Maharaj is offering garland. He said, "What is this? In front of his son, father is being killed, and the son is offering garland to this person. How demoniac is this?" So when you don't understand philosophy, then it becomes a nonsense. It totally becomes absurd. The painting for that Buddhist is out of his senses. He gone out of mad. What is this happening here? And you are worshipping him as a Bhagavan, as a god, who is killing his father in front of him only. I mean, he is looking at many things, child abuse and all these things. He is looking at it. So when you don't understand philosophy, then it becomes too complicated and it's difficult for us to really understand what's going on. Now in the younger generation, it becomes difficult for them to think about our scriptures, Vedas. Really, does it make any sense? Like one time we were going for book distribution in the train. The one boy asked the question that, "How can I believe that there is a God?" He said, then one of the Prabhu, he said that, "What? There are so many," this is in India, back in India. He said, "There are so many, you see the Ayodhya is there and Dwarka is there, so many Kurukshetra is there, still places available there. And Hastinapur is nothing but Delhi. But you see all these things, still you can't believe." Then he said that, and who knows, somebody must have written the scripture saying that looking at these places, okay, this place, this is there. Ayodhya is there, so he wrote one scripture on Lord Ram, created one fictional character on Lord Ram and then making Ayodhya as the base. And similarly Kurukshetra as a place and Delhi as Hastinapur, and somebody else must have written some other scripture. So agree? This point is valid.
My dad can only paint. My dad can only.
Yeah, that's good. You also should learn to paint.
Yeah.
So this question is a valid question. His argument is valid, and the younger generation, they want everything to be properly understandable, and they want to know the facts, and then only they want to believe in the scriptures. So then the question which one of the Prabhu asked him is that, "Did you believe that science exists?" And he said, "Yes." "So did you see atom?" He said, "No, I did not see atom." "But you believe there is an atom?" He said, "Yes, I do believe." "Then how come that you didn't see the atom but still you are believing in atom?" So some things, even the person who found out the atom, who is called as Bohr, he himself did not see atom. But he come to the conclusion there is an atom. How is that? Then there is experiment in the science lab. You can make an experiment, cathode rays, center rays, and you see the electrons and protons running. Then you see the rays. That's the inference. So similarly, when there is a God is there or not, one can find out is that you need to have a small faith and you start practicing them slowly, then you can understand yourself. You can come to the reference, you can come to the inference. Yes, there is a God. When atom only cannot be seen, but then you are believing there is an atom, and then you totally understandable to you, and then finally agreeing upon that, and then acting on that, and thinking that yes, that is 100% true, then same way, you have little bit faith, and then when you start working on it, then you can come to the conclusion. Yes, there is a God. And then there are so many evidences which we can talk about. Like in the Ramayana, it talks about when the Valmiki Muni, when he is going for a bath early in the morning, it's like Ramanas, they go before sunrise, they go and they finish their morning duties and they did Sandhya Vandan and everything. So he is going for a bath early in the morning. As he is going for a bath, he saw two birds, the crane birds. They are sitting on top of a tree and they are enjoying with each other. Assume that they are the wife and husband, something like that. They are birds which are partners. And there is a hunter, he is waiting to shoot an arrow onto one of the birds. And sure enough, he found a right time, and at that time Valmiki Muni entered into the scene. And he shot that arrow, and when he shot the arrow, that arrow pierced through the one of the bird's heart, and the bird bleeding fell down onto the ground. And the bird which is next to that, it starts crying, pitifully crying and then roaming around this bird. Seeing this scene, Valmiki Muni, he could not, he is a Muni actually, he is a Rishi, and he did a lot of tapasya and he can control his anger and all these things, but still he could not control his anger. He started cursing this hunter. So what did he curse this hunter? In the curse, he said that hunter, this craunch, the bird name is craunch in the Vedic times, even in Sanskrit it's called as a craunch bird. You separated Bharya and Bhatta, these craunch birds, the Bharya and Bhatta, you separated them, so for that you are going to be living in hell for eternity. He gave this curse. Now we are not worried about this curse, we are not worried about whether hunter is lived in the hellish planet or not that. But then when you look at it, why did Valmiki Muni say this bird is a crunch bird as a Bharya and Bhatta? Now even if you go as on today, if you go to the Google and then you can check it, this crane can choose only one, especially female, can choose only one bird as her partner, and she lives with that partner for lifelong. Even if the partner dies, she is not going to accept any other bird as her partner. So otherwise you don't see Bharya Bharta in Sanskrit is called as a wife and husband. That you can see only in the human beings, not in any animals or not in birds or animals. But then why did Valmiki spoke Bharya and Bharta? And now that we have so many technological equipment, and then we can go and find out, we can see bird sightseeing people, they go and they see this nature and they record the birds singing and all these things. Now of all that research, now they found out that yes, this crunch bird, that is the crane, will take only one as her partner, and she lives only with that partner for lifelong. Even if the partner dies by some mishap, and the lady bird will not accept anybody as her husband for the next one. So we can see now, after with the scientific research, now we found out that is true what Valmiki spoke around maybe 10,000 or millions of years back. So that way we can go to see there is quite a reference which we can see from the Vedic times. What it's speaking is perfectly truth. It is not some kind of fictional thing, somebody wrote something, so we are just reading that, and there is nothing that's going to be true in that. There is nothing like that. Now we can cite so many examples. Now actually we are deviating from Narsingh Bhagwan into these topics. So that is the importance of Narsingh Bhagwan, because Narsingh Bhagwan appeared only for the Prahlad Maharaj, because Hiranyakashipu is troubling Prahlad Maharaj. And to the extent he talks about, actually Prabhupada also says in one of the purport, in Bhagavad Gita it comes, recently we discussed, Krishna is more eager than the living entity to bring them back to the spiritual world. So just like the parents are having children, the children is run away from the home, more than the child, parent is more eager to bring back the child to the home. So we are all the children of Krishna, but then somehow we got deviated from our process and we are now roaming in this material world, as Prabhu said. We are all thinking that we are the enjoyer, we are the controller and proprietor and so many things. We are all having all these things. So that's how then we came, Krishna has created this place for our enjoyment. So that all the living entities can enjoy, yes, I am the controller and I am the enjoyer and I am the proprietor. The surprising thing is that each and every living entity in this material world think that they are in the center and whole world is revolving around them. I don't know how many of you seen, there is in India back in there is one ad commercial for Paragon slippers. If somebody is wearing a Paragon slipper, then they are like thinking like everybody is coming and thinking, can I help you? Can I serve you? It's like that everybody is coming around them and then trying to please them. So every living entity thinks like this. They are in the center of the universe and whole universe is circling around them, trying to help them and trying to give them the pleasure. That's what everybody thinks. So the living entities, they are not at all eager to go back to spiritual, but Krishna is more eager to take them back to the spiritual world, because we are all his children. So the same way Narsingh Bhagwan is, when Prahlad is being troubled and Narsingh Bhagwan is so much in a tension, it says that when Hiranyakashipu is going to hit the pillar, since Prahlad said that Narsingh is there, Vishnu is everywhere, and Hiranyakashipu is going to hit one of the pillars, and Narsingh Bhagwan don't know which pillar is going to hit. So it says that in the palace, Narsingh Bhagwan is appeared in all the pillars. So whichever the pillar is going to break, then he is going to come out of those pillars. So that's how Narsingh Bhagwan is so much ready to protect his devotee Prahlad Maharaj. So that's how the Narsingh Bhagwan, he is waiting eagerly when that moment will come, so that he can fight with the Hiranyakashipu. And as I said, Narsingh Bhagwan could have come. He need not to come also. He could have given just a heart attack to Hiranyakashipu. And there are so many things are there. Brain cancer, brain fever, something he would have given. There is nothing to be worried about for Vishnu to kill some living entity. And it's not that Hiranyakashipu is so powerful, that is also nothing like that. More than Hiranyakashipu, his brother is more powerful. Hiranyaksha is more powerful than Hiranyakashipu. And then another question comes that then Narsingh Bhagwan appeared there, then why can't he appear now and then protect all his devotees? So it says that unless otherwise the living entity cannot take the names of the God, so till the time he is okay. So Hiranyakashipu time, it is even one cannot even take the names of Vishnu. That was the situation. So that's how then Narsingh Bhagwan has to appear. But now many people ask the question, why he is not appearing now, God? Now the conditions are more worse than in any time compared to previous yugas. But that's only the answer to that is that now you can able to take the holy name. Harinam you can chant anywhere. Nobody can stop you. Unless otherwise you go into the White House and then say Harinam, Hare Krishna, then they may catch you and arrest you. But otherwise you are given free choice. You can chant. In your home you can chant. In Hiranyakashipu's time, we can't even chant in your home. The Brahmanas have been arrested and then they have been prosecuted and they have been killed. So that's the time the Lord appears. The same thing is in Krishna's time. So whereas when Narsingh Bhagavan appeared, that time it was situation was so difficult. So that's how the Narsingh Bhagavan has to appear to kill the Hiranyakashipu. And then as Vishnu appears, then again he has to take care of all his devotees. Brahma is one of his devotees. And he gave this benediction to Hiranyakashipu that he cannot be killed in the daytime, he cannot be killed in the night time, he cannot kill with any weapons, and he cannot be killed on the ground, and he cannot be killed in the air. He cannot be killed outside, he cannot be killed inside. Now Narsingh Bhagavan has to take care of all these things as a Vishnu. So then that's why the Vishnu has to appear in such a way that Brahma's curse also will be, Brahma's benediction is also will be taken care of. So that's how he has to appear in that form. Half man, half man. He is neither animal nor a man. And he did not kill him with any sword, he killed him with his nails. And he did not kill him outside, he did not kill him inside. Now, some of your parents, especially you find this more in South India, we cannot do anything in the doorways. Either giving anything, or taking anything, or eating anything. You cannot do any kind of act, especially in the doorway. Either do it outside, either do it inside. Why that comes? Because Narsingh Bhagavan killed Hiranyakashipu in that place. Because that is neither outside nor inside. So, I mean, my parents used to tell, my grandparents used to teach us, don't do that, don't do that. We cannot stand here because either inside or outside. That is in the middle. So we cannot do either. You cannot give money to them, they cannot take money. You cannot eat there, you cannot sneeze there. So many things. Why? Because this is one of the reasons. Because Narsingh Bhagavan killed Hiranyakashipu at that place. And Narsingh Bhagavan has to keep him on his lap because he cannot be killed down and he cannot be killed up in the sky or in the ground. Then he has to be in the middle somewhere. So you put him on his lap. And he killed Hiranyakashipu with his nails because he could not kill him with a sword. Narsingh Bhagavan thinks he could have killed him actually, but then he wanted to give respect to Lord Brahma. So accordingly he did not kill him with his sword or with his Sudarshan Chakra. So he killed him with his nails. And then Narsingh Bhagavan has to fight with Hiranyakashipu till twilight because it is neither day nor night. Hiranyakashipu, that benediction, he cannot be killed in the daytime, he cannot be killed in the night time. He has to fight with Hiranyakashipu. It says that Narsingh Bhagavan appeared in the noon and then he has to fight with him till in the evening time. And Hiranyakashipu thinks that, wow, see, I am so grateful. I am able to defeat this guy, whoever is this creature, I am able to defeat him. But Narsingh Bhagavan is playing. I don't know how many of you seen the cat killing a mouse. I mean, it's a gross thing to see actually. But then